What is up, boxing world? This is Boxing Vibes TV, and I'm your host, Jay Box. And we got a super special guest returning to the show, actually. Former reigning, defending junior lightweight champion, Jamel Simplify Herring. Thank you for
What's
having
going
me on
on,
the show.
man? What's going on? Good to see you again, man.
Yeah. When we last spoke, it was prior to the Carl Frampton fight. And,
Right,
you know, I was looking at it, and some people were favoring Carl Frampton because a lot of it was pedigree. They were like, oh, even though he's a smaller fighter coming up, it just seemed
right,
like the thing to do. Much of what you dealt with, even coming through the Olympics with that cohort, a lot of them being highly touted and you working yourself, um, and to the point where you yourself became a champion. Um,
right.
Describe the leading up to that fight, and I'm of the mindset. Besides you winning the title, that was a signature performance in your career. Like when we look back, I think like that's the big victory where you look at it like, yo, that was number one, the fashion in which you did it. It was a fight in the Middle East, and a future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, Carl Frampton.
Right, right.
Describe what that meant to your career and the build up to that.
It was definitely a big boost in my career. I felt like at that point in time it solidified me as a legitimate world champion. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Because I like I said, the people forget going into that fight, I was the underdog. People say
yeah,
things differently afterwards, but I was the underdog going into that fight.
right,
The name of the build was called Legacy, and it wasn't talking about my legacy. It was more of his legacy because remember, he was trying to become the first Irish three-time world champion, three different divisions at least,
right,
three-weight division champion. So the build was mainly around him, and people were questioning me because everything that happened with the Okendo fight and how that ended. So going into that fight, so it was pretty much a lot against me and more upside for him, at that point in time. But like I said, I didn't make any excuses going into the fight or during the build up. I just took everything that was being thrown at me as motivation, and like I said, it played out as one of my best highlights. One of my best performances of my career up to that point in time. So, like I said, much love and respect to Carl Frampton. I got a lot of love for him. I agree with you. I believe he's a future Hall of Famer in his own right. This is a man that was a 2016 Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year. So he's done a lot in his career, and just to have that name and that stamp on my record, that's a lot.
because you just didn't beat him. It was in grand fashion, and you retired him.
Right.
Right, as an underdog, you retired him. So that to me was like, to me was one of the most impressive fights I've seen in your career. And also too, going off your past fight, so many times we're a prisoner of the moment, right?
Right. Yeah.
Your next fight, you had to get Shakur Stevenson. In my opinion, you didn't look like yourself. It just kind of looked like it just wasn't your night, right? And
No,
and it
it
wasn't.
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't my night. Like I said, all love to my guy Shakur. He's just a better man. I mean, look
Yeah,
how he looked in his last fight. It's like he gets better with each and every fight. So I mean, I don't take anything from that fight because, like again, I feel like Shakur is a generational talent that
right.
comes every once in the blue moon. So, I mean, if I like took a loss to somebody that we never heard of or don't know or just isn't on that level, then you got to start rethinking everything that you're doing. But I mean, Shakur, he was sharp. I mean,
Yeah,
when I did the fight, I commentated his last fight for Sky Sports. So when during the fighting meeting, he thanked me for getting him prepared for that Valdez fight. And what he meant by that was, in our fight, every time I stepped it up, though, he stepped it up. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right,
he just kept, he just everything I threw at him, he did it better. You know what I mean? Or he came. If I came hard, he came harder. So like if people so like and they asked him, so how did you feel after we asked him, how did you feel after you won? And he said he felt like a superstar because I wasn't just any ordinary fighter. He felt like he finally fought and beat a legitimate world champion instead of fighting for a vacated title when he's at featherweight, he had to fight for a vacated belt. It felt more to him fighting a legitimate champion for the title. So, but that's a sign of respect. At the end of the day, it's a sign of respect. Because if I was just a bum, he wouldn't feel nothing. Wouldn't take nothing from it. But
Right.
like I said, and I've been trying to tell people. People thought, oh, you threw away the fight. You know how it goes. This and
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Shakur is just different, and he's gonna prove it again why he's different. And even the Valdez fight, he one sided again. So it's just that So like, I don't have any hard feelings. If anything, I was congratulate him. I reach out to Shakur. Me and Shakur actually talk all the time now, and I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. But like for me, in terms of my career, I'm getting back into it. I'm back at it. I dust myself off, and here we are today.
So everybody, we see dust ups and face offs and leading up to the promotion. So that leads, to something that everybody wants to know, right? You guys seem to be on great terms.
Right,
And even before it seemed like before the fight was made, y'all were cool. So
right.
how much of that buildup was real and how much it
I,
wasn't
no,
just
I believe no. A lot of that buildup was actually real
okay,
on his end.
okay,
To be honest, like for me, I don't take because like I said, I knew him personally, and it was never a real beef. And I'm from,
right,
I'm from New York, and so I was like, I know what real beef is. You know what I mean?
right,
I
right, right,
know what, like, so like I didn't take it personally, but for him, he was serious. Like he really, and like he was trying to get under my skin, and he knows like, you could throw a lot at me, and I won't budge, but like a lot of it that was actually real. Like I mean, that's why I'm happy that we actually got over that stage, and we, what I'm saying, we just, we're solid now. So, but like, no, that it wasn't, trust me, there was a lot of times I had to hold back
okay,
from lashing out because because like a lot of it was like really starting to annoy me. But
right,
me being, like me being easy breezy, I just had to keep it cool. But like, no,
yeah,
like that wasn't an act. Like he was really coming from my neck.
ah,
You know what I mean? So I was just like, yo, I gotta, because what it was also on my end, my daughter, she was seeing all this. You know what I mean? She's a teenager. She's like, Dad, why is he coming? Why he keep attacking you verbally? And I'm just, me, I'm just like, oh, that's part of the game. That's how some fighters feel like they had to build up a fight. And then she told me, she's like, well, whatever you do, don't ever, go to that level. So
right,
that's
right,
what kept me from like really snapping back. It was my oldest daughter. Like I said, kids, they see everything now. So, but no,
right.
it wasn't no make believe. Like that was actually real. But I just kept it cool on my end.
Yeah, it was a lot. I will say praises to you. A lot of restraint on your end with that.
Yeah, for real,
um,
man.
so